a discussion, basic discussion on the cost, and we will go one by one with all the concept of the cost. Okay, price that we pay for the product or services, the amount or resources that we forgone to create something or to buy something. Now the question arises, okay, for example, there are for example, there is a I'll talk about a concept called explicit and implicit cost. Explicit and implicit cost. What is explicit and implicit cost? See, explicit cost,
External factors.
Paid,
Is it external factors applying on that?
Yeah, paid to external factors. And implicit cost, for example, implicit cost, salary of owner of the business. Salary of owner of business. Okay, salary of owner of business. Can you give me any other example of implicit cost? Implicit cost is actually a cost which we actually do not incur, but that cost is countable for the cost accounting purpose. Like if I'm doing my own business, nobody is giving me salary. Instead of doing my own business, I could have doing the job at some other company.
Opportunity cost.
That opportunity cost, yes, that is all implicit cost. The salary of owner of business. And please don't mind any if typo error I do, because I generally type very fast. Yeah. Salary of owner of business, or maybe your cost of capital, cost of own capital. If I put my own money into the business, I lose the bank interest. If I could deposit into the saving bank account in India, we get 4 to 6% of rate of interest. So that is something which is I'm losing because of that. So the line which I want to focus is the amount of resources we forgone to create something or to buy something. That is our cost. The amount of resources we forgone to create something or to buy something is our cost. So cost could be monetary, cost could be non-monetary, cost could be explicit, cost could be implicit. Now let me talk about element of cost. Element of cost. Yeah, so let's talk about the material elements of cost. I'm talking about the element of cost. In the element of cost, first we have what are the element of specifically I'm talking about element of product cost. Product cost.
Manufacturing cost.
Yeah, element of product cost. So if you are calculating a cost of a product, what will be the element of that particular cost? So material could be an element.
Labor.
Yeah. Labor is another element.
Overheads.
And overheads. And labor and overheads altogether you can say labor and overheads altogether. You can say conversion cost. Conversion cost. Labor and overhead altogether, you can give a name, conversion cost. Okay. So that is your labor and overhead. Okay. Now this material also I can divide into
direct material.
Yeah, material also I can divide into two parts: direct material and indirect material. Similarly, labor can be divided into two parts: and overheads also can be divided into two parts. Direct material, indirect material. Labor and overhead also can be divided into two parts. Okay, now material, labor and overhead. Direct material, indirect material. Direct labor, indirect labor. Direct overhead, or I should not say overhead, I should say expenses. And direct expenses and indirect expenses. Now, this is a very interesting thing. Your direct material and direct labor and direct expenditure all together. Direct material, direct labor and direct expenditure. Direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses, known as
Explicit
prime
cost.
cost.
Oh, prime. No.
Known as prime cost. Direct material, direct labor and direct expenses all together is the prime cost, and indirect material plus indirect labor plus indirect expenses known as overheads. Overheads. So overhead is basically your indirect material, indirect labor and indirect expenses. These are the overheads.
Okay.
So this is the very important concept. We are talking about, again I'm repeating, we are talking about element of product cost. We are looking at the element of product cost. What are the element of a product cost? So in a product cost you can find three things: material, labor and expenses. In any product, look at any product, talk about any product, mobile phone, talk about laptop, talk about fast movable consumable goods, any product. In any product you have three kind of expenditure: material, labor and expenses. Material can be divided into direct material and indirect material. Labor can be divided into direct labor and indirect labor. And expenses also can be divided into direct expenses and indirect expenses. Now, the question comes, what is a direct material? What is a direct material? What is a indirect material? What is an indirect material? And how to differentiate between them? Any idea? How to differentiate between them?
The direct material can probably be found in the product itself.
Yeah, very great answer. Direct material can be found in product itself. Correct. Which is essential part of which is essential raw material. And can be observed in final output. Indirect, then what is indirect material?
Packing and others.
Okay, packing. Can packing always indirect material?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Depends on the product.
Depends upon the product. If it is a so let's talk about milk packets. So how you are getting milk? How are you getting milk? It is
essential. Then it is direct.
Yeah. So in that case, if essential, then it will be direct. So indirect material, which I can say not directly related to production of goods, production or manufacturing of goods.
Yeah.
So for example, let's say you are using oil and grease in machine, which is used for production of material, which is used for production of material. Oil and grease in machine, yeah, this is indirect material.
Yeah.
Or if let's say for a restaurant, cooking gas, LPG is indirect material. This is not directly related to the product. Indirect material normally, I'm not saying always, indirect material normally gets consumed during the production process. And do not exist in final output. So that is indirect material. And one more important thing you should always remember, that it should not directly identified in final product. It can't be directly related to the final product. Always we can discuss like cooking gas and LPG in indirect material. So for a restaurant cooking gas you are using, there could be a chance that they have a meter, and for each and every cooking they are able to identify it. See, scientifically nobody can challenge direct material. Scientifically nobody can prove direct material, indirect material. If you will bring the ultimate science to me, you can prove every indirect material as a direct material, because you will be able to measure it. If you'll put let's say if your gas burner is like is such a burner that whenever you keeping it on and off, it's giving the reading that how much cooking gas used for that particular dish prepared for a particular customer. In that case, that cooking gas will convert into direct material because it can be directly identified or directly related to that production. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
But is there any sense to put that much science or put that much use of technology? We have to see the cost and benefit. We have to see the cost and benefit analysis also. So where in the normal parlance we are not able to directly relate the product to the particular item, then it's indirect material. Now let's talk about direct labor and indirect labor. Indirect labor. Okay. Now see, what is direct labor? See, people or labor directly engaged in production of goods. And indirect material is supporting stuff.
So supervisors and stuff.
Yeah, supervisors, all supervisors are indirect labor. Cleaning staff.
Managers.
Manager could be managers. Okay. Okay.
Sorry, you cannot directly.
Office staff and HR department, accounts, audit, many. Those are indirect labor, not directly related to production. Labor directly engaged in production, that is direct labor and indirect labor. And similarly, there will be direct expenses and indirect expenses. So basically, our objective was just to look at the element of product cost. While finding out the element of product cost, there could be three kinds of expenditure: material, labor, and other expenses. Now, I will prepare a cost sheet which will give you the idea of all the costs incurred from the purchase of the raw material to the product. We sell out the product till that. What are the various costs we are incurring that we will look into the cost sheet. So let's have a look on the cost sheet. 1 minute, let me just make a format for that.
Skill.
Okay, so I'll start cost sheet. First item in the cost sheet is raw material consumed. Raw material consumed. That is the first cost in the cost sheet. Amount, and if you multiply by the number of units, then you will get the cost per unit. Now let's talk about the raw material consumed. How to calculate the raw material consumed? How you will calculate the raw material consumed? Maybe I can make a I can explain here only. How to calculate raw material consumed. So raw material consumed will be opening stock of raw material plus purchase cost of raw material plus purchase cost of raw material plus purchase expenses minus closing stock of raw material. This is your raw material consumed. Raw material consumed. How to calculate raw material consumed? Opening stock of raw material plus purchase cost of raw material plus purchase expenses minus closing stock of raw material. First item is raw material consumed in a cost. I'm preparing a cost sheet for a product. A product cost sheet. Product cost sheet. I'm not talking about a service right now. I'm talking about product.
When you say stock, you mean inventory, right?
Yes,
Yes.
inventory. Yes.
You better use the right terminology, Abhishek.
Yeah, sure.
Bring
Yeah,
invent
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, sure. Then we have labor cost. That means direct wages. Okay. And direct expenses. See, you don't worry. Today's discussion is very general and basic discussion. Okay.
Sure.
My objective is not to cover any topic. My objective is just to give you the basic idea about the cost. I'm just doing the foundation, creation of the foundation. Then on the basis of that, we'll go topic by topic with our course terminology also. Yeah. So raw material consumed, labor cost, direct wages plus direct expenses. That will give you the total of that total becomes your prime cost, which I explained you earlier also. This is your prime manufacturing cost. Prime manufacturing. Prime cost of material. Prime cost of inventory, I can say, or prime cost of material. Okay. After that, now once you got the prime cost, now you have to add works overhead. Works overhead. So that indirect expenses, depreciation of machinery, other factory expenses. These are your works overhead. These expenditures are your works overhead. Once you will add these expenditure, then you will get works cost or factory cost. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
1 minute. Okay. Then here comes office and administration expenses.
So like rent and utilities.
Yeah, it could be depreciation of office computers
Right. Okay.
and 1 minute. It could be office rent.
Mm-hmm.
It could be general manager salary. It could be accounts department salary because accounts department also sitting in your office. Audit fees. Office stationery. There could be n number of expenditures.
Right.
So these are office and administration expenditure. Once you will add all these expenditure, it will become your cost of production. This is your cost of production. Can you produce goods without office?
Probably not.
Not, because somebody needs to manage that. So
Yeah.
office is managing. Factory is producing, but the office is managing the affairs. So we need office also.
Okay.
Then now here is very interesting. Cost of production you got. Now I am adding opening finished inventory. Opening finished inventory. Value of opening finished inventory. Or I should say value of inventory, value of finished inventory, completed inventory in the beginning of year, in the beginning of period. Value of inventory in the beginning of period. And less
Ending of period less.
less value of completed inventory at the end of period. This is add and this is less, which is I'm like reducing. I'll write down in brackets. So that will give you cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold. Any doubt in this, Mr. Iqbal?
No.
Why
Clear.
I am added? Huh? Is it clear?
Yes.
Clear.
Then now you have selling and
Distribution.
overhead. Obviously that expenditure you will incur only on those units which you are going to sell. And after adding this, you will get cost of sales. Cost of sales. And in that cost of sale, if you will add the profit, so you will get the sale value. Is that clear?
Clear.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Okay. So this is the cost sheet we prepared. Any query on this, any doubt on this, you can ask. Anybody is open to ask any question. So what we are doing, let me repeat the see what our topic is. Section D, cost management we have to discuss. But before discussing that cost management, Today's session, I'm contributing for the basic discussion of the cost. Let us have the basic understanding of the cost. Then we will talk about the further technical things in the cost management. So I started with what is cost, price that we pay for the product or services, or the amount of resources we forgone to create something or to buy something. Cost could be explicit cost or implicit cost. Explicit cost, which is where the actually you are foregoing the resources. You can measure the resources which you are foregoing. Either you are paying money for that. Explicit cost, for which you are actually paying something. Implicit cost, you actually not paying something, but that cost, that resource may have opportunity cost. Is that clear? Explicit and implicit difference is clear, or
Yes.
yeah. Okay. Then we talked about the element of product cost. I am not talking anything about the service cost. I am talking about the product cost only. So in a product, mainly there are three types of costs: material, labor, and expenses. Material can be divided into two types: direct material, indirect material. Labor can be divided into two types: direct labor, indirect labor. Expenses can be divided into two types: direct expenses, indirect expenses. Your direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses altogether become the prime cost. Indirect material, indirect labor, and indirect expenses altogether become the overheads. And then we segregated what is direct material, what is indirect material. And after that, we prepared a cost sheet to understand there are what are the different types of cost which added together becomes the total cost price. In that, we can add the profit and then figure out the sale price. Now, I will talk about behavior classification of cost. Or let me put this topic like in that way: classification of cost. Classification of cost. I'm talking about very basic topic.
Yeah.
So the first classification is element wise classification, which we have already done. Element wise classification.
The implicit, explicit, or the primary one. That's the element wise.
Element wise classification was this one. 1 minute. Direct material.
Right.
I mean, it's a material, labor, and overhead.
Okay.
Material, labor, and expenses. This is the element wise classification.
Okay.
Second comes to the functional classification. That is also very important. Functional classification of cost. And whatever topic I'm teaching you right now is I'm not restricted only for the CMI USA content. We are talking, today's discussion is totally general discussion, basic discussion.
Right.
And with no boundaries, we can discuss anything from anywhere. And then from there we will come back and we'll go narrowly. We'll look into very narrow sense to our content. So right now we are looking at very broader sense, and so don't find the content don't try to find out the content in your books. There could be anything. So element wise classification we have done. Now functional wise classification, if we look into the cost, then first comes to the production and manufacturing cost. Production and manufacturing cost, or in other words, I will say prime cost. In other words, it is prime cost. Let me write down here only. In other words, and nothing to no need to write down anything. After this class, I will share this sheet with you.
Okay.
In other words, what it is? Prime cost. Okay. Then second comes your factory cost. Factory cost. Then third come office and administration cost. Then selling and distribution cost. And very important, research and development cost. Research and development cost. These are the functional classification of cost. Functional classification of cost. Now let's look at the element wise classification, functional classification. Now look at the behavior wise classification of cost. And that is very interesting discussion which I want to bring it onto the table. That is first is fixed cost, variable cost, and semi-variable. Fixed cost, variable cost, and semi-variable cost. Let's talk about fixed cost. What is a fixed cost? A fixed cost remains fixed at all level of production. Or operations. For services, I'm using the word operations. Fixed cost remains fixed, remains constant at all level of production or operations. Number one. Second thing, fixed cost cannot be expressed per unit. Fixed cost cannot be expressed per unit, or I should say should not be expressed per unit. You can, but it should not be expressed per unit. Fixed cost should not be expressed per unit. Why?
Because it doesn't change with the increase of or decrease of units.
And if you will express it per unit, then what will happen? Let's say if I'm expressing the fixed cost per unit, then what will happen?
Fixed cost.
No idea. Huh?
No, it's allocation.
Yeah, if yes, correct. It's a great answer, Mr. Iqbal. Great answer. If fixed cost expressed somewhere as per unit, then it is nothing but the allocation based on given number of units. Okay, I like to bring an example to make it more understandable for you. So I'll take an example of in India. Let's say there is a person from Hyderabad. You know Hyderabad, city of Hyderabad in India.
Yes.
Is traveling. Is traveling to Bangalore every week. A person from city of Hyderabad is traveling to Bangalore every week, 800 kilometers by cab. Okay. So week 1, week 2, week 3. Okay. Cost of week 1 is rupees. Currency is rupees here. Is INR 4,000. Cost of week 2 rupees 2,000. Cost of week 3 rupees 1,000. Week 4 cost of week 4 is rupees 4,000 again. Now I'm little bit confused. A person is traveling from Hyderabad to Bangalore every week, 800 kilometers by cab every time. Week 1 he paid 4,000 rupees. Week 2 he paid 2,000 rupees. Week 3 he paid 1,000 rupees. What is this? Why this amount is changing?
Maybe the kind of car he's traveling in is different. Or maybe the fuel prices rise every week and
by cab, by same cab,
Okay.
same driver,
Timing is different.
no change in fuel rates, no timing change.
So nothing changes. It's just
Even he's sitting at the same place of the car, backside right.
Could be the demand of the for the week.
No change in demand.
whatever we say, he says no to it.
Then you have to answer this.
Then you have to think about it. I mean, that means these are not the reason. Something else is the reason.
Maybe the cab
Yes.
provider is changing it at his whim without
That
any.
also will put.
No change in cab. I told you same driver, same cab. No change in no change in cab
Right, okay.
provider.
Distance.
Okay.
Oh my God! So every week Hyderabad, Bangalore. I mean, they are
Shortcut.
changing distance. No
Shortcut.
No shortcut. No shortcut. No flying of car. No AC, non-AC difference. No AC or non-AC difference. No other facility.
So the service is exactly the same, but there is a fluctuation in the cost.
Yes, fluctuation in the cost, not rate. Rate is not changing. There is a fluctuation in the cost. For the week 1, cost of week 1, 4,000, cost of week 2, 2,000, cost of week 1,000, again cost of week 4, he paid 4,000. And now let me tell you the answer. I mean, the reason, not answer. There is no answer in question, first of all. I mean, you gave your reason, now I'll give my reason. So my reason is that in the period 1, number of person, he was alone in the car.
Oh,
Second week there was,
I didn't think of that. Yeah. Makes sense.
in the second week there was 2 people. In the week 3 there was 4 people. Again, he didn't find any partner to share the cost.
Okay. Makes sense.
So fixed cost. That means fixed cost
Because
remains
we don't
constant.
have cab sharing in here. That's why we didn't think of that.
No. Also, we don't have cap sharing in. I mean, see, I
It's
just
an
gave an
assumption.
example.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can think of, if you are going to Hyderabad, you are going to Bangalore, maybe from London to any nearby place. Then you will just say to another person, okay, if you are going with me, we'll share the cost.
Cost. Yeah.
So
Now it
basically,
makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, total fixed cost of cab every week. That is important thing. Now this is the important thing to understand. 4,000 into 1 is equal to 4,000. 2,000
Into 2.
into 2 is equal to 4,000. So the word which you said, Mr. Iqbal, is very correct. If fixed cost per unit is expressed, 2,000, 1,000 was the per unit or per person, it was just an allocation. It was just a mere allocation on that particular level of unit or particular level of persons. So fixed cost we should not express per unit. Fixed cost never should be expressed per unit.
Okay.
One more thing. Fixed cost is sunk cost.
Already occurred.
Right, already occurred. And should not be the part of decision making. What it means? Already occurred and should not be part of decision making.
Because it is not complete.
Huh?
The fixed cost is not complete.
Okay.
Some other cost also should be added, then only decision can be made.
No, I'm not saying in that way. Huh?
Fixed is whether you.
Yeah, you will
Produce
incur
a-
it regardless of choosing project A, project B,
Yeah.
project C. So you shouldn't consider that whilst making a decision on which project to choose.
At any cost, you have to pay that, whether
Yeah.
you perform or not, like that.
Capacity utilization. %80. Okay, capacity utilization 80%. Selling price per unit 100 rupees. Variable cost per unit 60 rupees. Fixed cost 24,000 rupees. Okay. 80,000 into 40, 32 lakh. So let's increase this fixed cost. Fixed cost is 12 lakh rupees. 12 lakh rupees. Okay. Now there is a foreign buyer who wants to give order of 20,000 units at the rate 66 per unit. Should we accept that offer?
Yes, you have to accept.
Why? Why
Already
should
you
I
are,
Because
accept?
it's more than the variable cost.
the capacity, you have the capacity to cover up that unit. And
Okay.
the cost will not change for you. Cost will be the same.
Okay, let's see. You are correct. Let's see what is the present scenario. Present scenario is your sale is 80,000 units you are producing, correct? 80,000 into 100 is your sale. 80 lakh. Less variable cost per unit. That will be 80,000 units multiplied by 60, 48 lakh. So your contribution
Margin.
is 32 lakh. Now
Fixed
less
cost.
fixed cost is 12 lakh is given. So 20 lakh is your profit as of now. Current situation is that. Now, if you are going to sell the additional units, what about the additional units?
20,000.
So your additional units is sales. Sales will be 20,000 multiplied by 66. Yeah. So, okay. Then less variable cost per unit, which will be 20,000
Into 60.
multiplied by 60. So your contribution will come to this 13 lakh 20,000. So 1 lakh 30,000.
120,000.
Yeah, 120,000. Sorry, 120,000. So and your additional fixed cost is nil. No fixed cost extra you have to incur.
Correct. You are getting a
So-
profit 120,000 extra.
120,000 profit extra. Now question arise. One more question. What if this offer comes from a local vendor? What if this offer comes from a local vendor?
Would it matter?
in cost accounting, in very narrow sense, in cost accounting, it doesn't matter, but in business, it is matters.
Okay.
In business, yes.
Yeah.
But you,
So
you
if
need
it-
not accept the offer.
Huh?
You
Sorry.
need not accept the offer if it's local vendor.
Why?
Why? Because it's giving the same price.
Same profit.
Tomorrow he may come back with,
Same profit, sorry, yeah.
no, that's not the thing. For repeat order, he will ask for the same 66 rupees per unit.
No,
Whereas we
he
cannot
will
afford
spoil
to
the
give.
other clients. He will spoil the other clients because he's a local vendor. You can't
Okay.
see in one city, you can't charge one person 100 rupees and another person 66 rupees.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if it is a foreign buyer special case, yes, you can give special discount. Or if it is an institutional buyer, government buyer, then you can give special discount to them. Because, but if it is a regular customer from regular, yeah, so you can't give him a special price. So that's why special wording has been used. There is a foreign buyer who wants to give order 20,000 units.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I was talking about, let me come back to fixed cost. I was talking about fixed cost remains fixed at all level of production or operations. Now let's talk about variable cost. Okay, one more thing, let me tell you. Okay, that's okay. Fixed cost हो गया, बात करते हैं. Now talk about variable cost. So variable cost is a product cost which changes at every level of production or operations. One more thing, variable cost per unit is constant. Variable cost per unit is constant. Very, very important line. Variable cost per unit is constant. And before discussing this variable cost in detail, I have very related another classification. Let us talk about that also. Product cost and period cost. I want to bring into discussion that this point also. Product cost and period cost. Product cost. What is a product cost and what is a period cost? And mostly you will find generally, I'm not saying in all the cases, but mostly product cost is variable cost.
Exactly. Period cost is constant, right?
Is fixed cost. Period cost is always fixed cost. So like
Rent.
salary, yes, salary, rent, or what, taxes, interest. Product cost is material, labor. These are your product costs. These are variable. And period cost always fixed. So that's why I wrote here, variable cost is a product cost which changes at every level of production and or operations. And I'm talking about the total variable cost, not the variable cost per unit. I'm talking about total variable cost. Total variable cost is a product cost which changes at every level of production or operation. Variable cost per unit is constant. Can you explain this? What does it mean? Variable cost per unit is constant. Anybody has any idea about this? Variable cost per unit is constant. Huh?
Yeah. That simply means like it depends on the number of units, like number of units into variable cost per unit. So it depends on unit. I means volume of production directly.
It's like a labor rate per hour.
No, material.
It could be labor rate also. Correct. It could be, yeah. So Variable cost per unit could be material cost per unit. Material cost per unit.
Yeah.
It could be labor cost per unit. Labor cost per hour. It could be run per kilometer, run cost per kilometer.
Like electricity charges per unit is some fixed amount.
Electricity, yes, electricity charges per unit of consumption. So variable cost per unit is constant. That's why it makes it variable, because it will change according to the number of units.
Units
So if
produced.
so at different level of production, it will change. And now come to the semi-variable cost. Semi-variable cost. So a cost which contains,
Both an element of fixed and variable.
yes, both elements of fixed and variable. Now question arises, can we segregate the elements, the fixed and variable elements in semi-variable cost? Can we do that?
We should be able to.
Yes, we can do that. So that brings the topic called segregation of semi-variable cost into fixed and variable. Segregation of semi-variable cost into fixed and variable. Now, how you will segregate the semi-variable cost into fixed and variable? Before doing that, for that purpose, let us do an example. So this example, I have two objectives. First, how to identify fixed variable and semi-variable, and how to segregate the semi-variable. So I'm taking how to take the cost. Okay, let's take the let's do in that way. Cost. So cost A, cost B, cost C. Okay, let's say there are three types of cost, and year 2011 and year 2012. Year 2011, year 2012. Cost A, cost, and production. Also, let's take the production also. In the year 2011, I made the production of 8,000 units. In the year 2012, the production was of 20,000 units. Okay. Cost A is 40,000, and in the year 2011, and it was 1 lakh in the year 2012. Cost B was 50,000 in the year 2011, and also it was 50,000 in the year 2012. And cost C was 68,000 in the year 2011 and 1,40,000 in the year 2012. So there are three different costs. First question, identify which is, tell me the nature of cost, which is fixed, which is variable, which is semi-variable.
So we'll divide this by the number of units.
You do whatever you want.
B is fixed.
No, it's not fixed because see the number of units has changed. Oh, it can be fixed, yeah.
It's fixed.
Because
So
it hasn't
B is
changed
fixed.
regardless of the change
Yeah.
of units.
B is fixed, and how you identified? By
It hasn't
observation.
changed. Yeah.
So fixed cost we can identify just by observation. It should be fixed at every level of production, every level of operation. So cost B is your fixed cost. Okay, now talk about cost A and C. Any idea? Which cost is variable, which cost is semi-variable?
I think C has increased by the same amount, so it should be semi-variable.
Sorry,
It has increased by the same amount in year 2012.
same amount means
Oh,
what? What
Yeah,
same
so
amount means?
it can have a fixed cost element in cost C. No?
Why not in cost A? How cost C differs from cost A?
I just did something. Okay.
both are variable.
Both are
Both.
variable. Okay. Okay. Which
40,000.
can't be, which nobody will accept. Both are variable.
No,
Obviously,
cost
I'll
A
keep.
is 5, no?
Yes, it's 5. Correct. It's
C is
5.
Then
semi-variable.
that must have some amount of.
Yeah. So cost A is variable. What was the method? Per unit method.
Per unit, yeah.
Per unit method you have used. So what is the what that per unit method says?
Divide the total cost by the total units.
Yes.
Cost per
40,000
unit.
divided by 8,000 and 1 lakh divided by 20,000.
Based on this assumption, cost C should be semi-variable because you would try to explain that as well.
Semi-variable. It is semi-variable because
Of elimination.
per unit method failed. Yes, per unit method failed. Constant per unit method failed. Do you
Yeah.
agree? Agree, Mr. Iqbal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's with my experience, that's why I'm telling you, it's very difficult to figure out which cost is variable, semi-variable, and fixed in the exam. Once you will be able to figure out it's semi-variable or variable, you can do the right treatment. So the main part we have done, that we have figured out that cost C is semi-variable. Now question arises, how to segregate this? How to segregate this cost C?
To fix
this
and
cost.
variable.
Yeah, so this cost C 68,000 and 1,40,000 C. This cost C has fixed part and variable part. I want to find out how much is the fixed part, how much is the variable part. Are you getting my point? Out of 68,000, the 68,000 will be we will break it into two parts, fixed part and variable part. Similarly, 1,40,000 will be broken into two parts, fixed part and variable part. Now the question arises, how to do that? So let's do that. Segregation of semi-variable cost into fixed and variable. For that, you have to use this formula. First of all, you have to find out variable cost per unit. Variable cost per unit. And how you will find out this variable cost per unit? What is the formula? The formula is change in cost upon change in quantity.
Oh, quantity.
Yeah, change in unit, one and same thing. Change in cost upon change in quantity. So my cost change is 1,40,000 minus 68,000 is the change in cost. And what is the change in quantity? 20,000 minus 8,000. Agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
So 140 minus 68 will be 72,000. and 20 minus 8 will be 12,000.
Right.
So 70,000 divided by 12,000 will be 6. 6 rupees per unit is the variable cost. Variable cost per unit is 6 rupees. And now number of units is 8,000 and 12,000. 20,000. This is the number of units. Now variable cost will be
6 into 8,000.
8,000 units multiplied by 6. 8,000 unit multiplied by 6. Okay. And 20,000 units. 20,000 units multiplied by 6. So this will be 48,000 and this will be 1,20,000. Now fixed part is 68 minus 48. Do you agree? 68 minus 48?
20,000 for both, yeah.
And
Yeah.
140 minus 120?
20,000.
Yeah, so it's proven that fixed part is fixed.
Okay, so this is like a second check as well. The
It's a
amount.
check, it's a second check. Yes, correct. Fixed cost should be same in both period.
Wonderful.
Okay. Fine. So we have done various classification of cost. We have done behavior wise classification also, and we have done the difference between product cost and period cost also. That also can be asked in the exam. So a good discussion we have done. Very good. Now let's move to, I want to talk about concept of cost of goods sold, which I discussed in the cost sheet also, if you remember. Yeah. What is cost of goods sold? What is the concept of cost of goods sold? What does it mean? Any question do you have, Mr. Majid?
No, so far it is very clear.
Thank you. Concept of cost of goods sold. Any question? What do you mean by this? Cost of 8,000 units which are sold during the year. Needs to calculate as per matching concept. So matching concept says that revenue and cost should be matched. Should be matched or should be relates to each other. My cost 7,80,000. This 780,000 is the cost. How much? 1,56,000, I think. 156,000.
156.
Yeah. So cost of goods sold is equal to 780,000 minus 156,000. That will be 680 minus 56.
1 minute.
624. 624,000. Yeah. And now I can calculate profit or loss. Profit or loss is equal to 1.2 million
Sales, yeah.
minus 624,000 is equal to 576,000. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, yeah, clear.
Do you guys have any idea of trading account? Trading account,
No.
or
When
maybe
trading
for,
account is what?
okay,
Buy and sell.
that is buy and sell. Let's forget that. I think you got this. I don't want to confuse that. You got this 5,76. 576,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Cost of production and cost of goods sold difference understood. So now see what cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is equal to cost of production
Plus,
minus cost of production minus
okay.
cost of closing inventory.
Oh, yeah.
Plus cost of opening inventory, cost of opening inventory, which obviously
Finished goods. No?
obviously you have sold during the year.
So like a carry forward opening inventory. Okay.
Yeah, carry forward opening inventory. Yes, carry forward opening inventory, like a carry forward opening inventory.